So fate or choice? What if it's not fate but choices that decides the things? Hello, this is Kaustav Bhattacharya and welcome to my YouTube channel Aaj Ka HR. Today's topic is going to be on deciding as to whether the things that happen with us happens due to fate or due to the conscious choices that we make. But before we move to the topic itself, let me tell you something that I am really thankful to all of you for subscribing to my channel, for all the views and the likes. Please keep on subscribing to my YouTube channel, sharing my videos and liking my videos like this. So let's move on to the topic. So fate or choice? See, I have arranged a couple of incidences that will help you understand as to the things that happen with us actually happen because of the conscious choices that we make and not the fate. The first incident in this category is the Chernobyl accident in 1986. The Chernobyl accident that happened in 1986 caused severe damage to life and property. Many people had to evacuate their houses and their properties immediately after the reactor exploded. To those who doesn't know what the Chernobyl reactor incident was all about, let me tell you that Chernobyl reactor was a nuclear power reactor that was there in Pripyat, Ukraine, and this Chernobyl nuclear power reactor exploded with causing serious damage to life and property, and the acute radiation syndrome killed many people across the city, and people had to immediately evacuate the city. But you would be surprised to know that what actually triggered this incident was not fate, but it was the faulty reactor design and the hiring of untrained people by the management. Yes, that's what was responsible behind the explosion of the nuclear power reactor at Chernobyl. So it's the choice that the management made while it hired untrained and unskilled people to take care of the reactor, to manage the reactor, and the approval of the faulty designs that had contributed to the explosion of the nuclear power reactor at Chernobyl. The second incident, the Mauryan Empire. The Mauryan Empire is perhaps the biggest empire in India and that India in fact has ever seen. This was the most mightiest empire. But did you know that what contributed to the formation of the Mauryan Empire? It's the insult of the king of the Nanda dynasty to a scholar. A scholar was actually insulted by the king of the Nanda dynasty in his own court, and that is what actually contributed to the formation of the Mauryan Empire. Chanakya was the scholar who went to the court of the king of the Nanda dynasty on his invitation, and he was completely insulted and ridiculed in front of many people in the court. It was in that day that he decided that he had to take the revenge from the Nanda king, as because he was not only arrogant but he was also ill-mannered and indisciplined. That is why India deserved, that at that time India was known as Bharat. Bharat deserved a better prince than the Nanda king itself. So he trained Chandragupta Maurya, who was the first Mauryan king, and he overthrew the Nanda dynasty. That is how, it's the conscious choice again that the Nanda king made. He shouldn't have insulted the scholar Chanakya or ridiculed him in front of all those people in the court. The third incident was greater acceptance of women. See, during the World War, women were employed for positions and posts that were strictly meant for men. Because during the World War, men were being sent to the front to fight in the war, and that's why there was a shortage of workforce in the industries, and that is why employment had to be done, and women were employed in different posts and positions in different industries. and they were being given equal voting rights during war as well. So that's what changed the scenario during the World War. So it's again not the World War, but it's the choices that people made at that point of time to employ more women, as men were not present in doing their work. The fourth incident is the end to the colonial rule. See, many of the countries were under colonial rule under the British Empire, and the World War actually brought an end to it, because of the World War, the British government actually received a severe setback, and that is why it had to leave all the countries, and that brought an end to the colonial rule. Again, it was the conscious choice that the British government made, and not the fate, and not the war that contributed to it. So, and the last one in this category is going to be the fact that the World War II happened simply because a British army officer didn't pull the trigger. You'd be surprised to know this, but Henry Teddy, who was a British army officer, was actually deployed in France, and there was a severe war going on in France, and the Germans were fleeing at that point of time. But Henry Teddy, the British army officer, showed mercy to a wounded German, and that caused the World War II, that caused the Holocaust, and that caused the Hiroshima and Nagasaki bombings. You would be surprised to know that the wounded German was none other than Adolf Hitler. Had Henry Teddy pulled the trigger at that point of time, the history could have been different. It's again the choice that Henry Teddy made. I mean, an act of mercy is very human and it's very appreciated, but the consequences that it brought upon all the people in this world could not be in fact appreciated at all. So these were the couple of incidences that had actually contributed to changing the history itself. Now you have to decide as to whether the conscious choices, all of this happened due to the conscious choices that individuals made, or it was the fate that was behind all this. Thanks for watching this video, and please do like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. This is Kaustav Bhattacharya signing off. Thank you.